Yeah.
Exactly.
Um.
That's
Yeah.
crucial, bro. That's
Oh.
powerful email. Yeah, I know you got more to give me. I know it's about to be more. And you just get ready.
There's some more background information. Okay, so before I sent this, like I said, I called, I guess, one of their clerks for the sheriff department of Orange County. Heard what I was telling them, as far as like it's foreign nationals, the Society of Foreign Nationals in the area, and the police patrol cars aren't competent in this area of international law, and it's a manual that's out that they're supposed to be competent in, and they're not. They're just talking about they never heard of it and all this stuff. So I want to set up a meeting with the sheriff to discuss this to make sure your officers are competent, right? So then they referred me to somebody, and this somebody was this guy right here, Ray Grandgolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the chief of staff for the sheriff, and so he called me. I'm like I'm making a delivery or something, and he called me. He was like, "Are you Mafiel?" I'm like, "Yes." And we start going in. So I basically said the same thing that I told the first person, and he was like, he actually pulled the manual up. Like I said, he pulled the manual up, and he was looking at it as we were talking. He was like, "Okay, okay." It was revised in 2018, issued from the Department of State. And I'm like, "Yep, is it blue?" You feel me? I already know what the manual look like. I'll be going to court pressing with the manual. I know the manual front and back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he was like, yeah, yes, I would see how our officers would need to be um, know the protocols of this manual. You know what I mean? I see the importance. So he was like, email your organization, who you are, and whatever documentation you got as far as what you're trying to get done, right? So then I sent him this right here. Now, then a day went by. I emailed him this. He didn't respond. Now I got at two people. I'm like, should I just bang on him like keep calling, or should I give it to one more day? So one person told me like, nah, they ain't good enough. He should at least told you like I got it or something. And then somebody else was like, if he the chief of staff, he might be busy. So I'm like,
So you in a dilemma, like, I don't know, like, what do I want to do? But then he emails you, huh?
nah, I called today and got in contact with the secretary to the chief. So she the one that booked the appointments. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So she was like, he out of town, he come back next week, but somebody will contact you next week in regards of this matter. So you feel me?
Yeah.
I'm on the end. I'm on
yeah, no,
the
you
end,
on a,
man.
yeah, they gotta do something. They gotta say something, do something. Cause right now they just admitted to that they supposed to be teaching their officers certain things that they not. So they already admitted to that. So now they just probably looking for the best person for you to talk to. They like, you know what I'm saying? They can't just find anybody. They gotta fucking get the right person. They're like, oh man, we gonna set up a meeting. Okay, he's out of town. So now they gotta figure out who the fuck can we set a meeting with this guy, so we can like not show too much, but
Right.
still try to pacify him in some way. You know what I'm saying, or put you on a rat race. So it's like it's interesting. It's gonna be very interesting when they hit you back and you have that meeting and how that shit go.
Yeah.
Because
Now look,
now it's like civil matters.
the secretary for the sheriff was like, I told him, I'm like, whoever the first guy was, the Ray guy, the chief of staff, I'm like, he unprofessional. I need to talk to somebody. It's been a day. He didn't even let me know that he even got the email. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I need somebody else that can handle this matter. Like, it's a society of foreign nationals out here, and y'all patrol cops need to be competent. You know what I'm saying? Because even in the manual, it talks about as far as the competence of the officer in international affairs. So it's basically like whoever's competent on the spot. Like, so if you get pulled over and I'm competent and the officer's not pursuant to the manual, I'm here lacing him on the spot. Like basically letting him know his error. You know what I'm saying? I might even I got a copy of the manual. So when it's like that, I'm the law for the day. You know what I'm saying? At that juncture, he's the one
Yeah.
incompetent. I'm the one that's competent, and I'm the consul, because that's what the manual is about, talking about consuls on how to deal with diplomats and different nationalities of people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? He's incompetent. I'm the consul. I'm the law. He got to go either field somewhere or
That
go
shit
chill with the
different.
captain or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that shit different. It's like it's another level of knowledge right here. Like when you got the motherfucking sheriff emailing you and shit. Talking about, yeah, we're gonna have to check on this matter. I agree with you. We're gonna contact you back in a week. Like, and the motherfucker,
Yeah, man.
you can't make this shit up.
You feel me?
Fuck that fly up. Yeah, you can't make this shit up, bro. That shit crazy. Powerful.
So I figured I'd cover two birds with one stone by showing you that. Because I wanted to go over the bylaws with you anyway. This is the Califia Society, you know, our body politic or articles of organization, right? So I emailed this to them, and I still wanted you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you can know, like, the operation.
Members shall be bound and by, let's say, members shall be bound to and by the bylaw herein. Members must conduct all business, good faith, with respect to law, equity, equity,
Yep.
and moral ethics. The legal name of the association should be known as Califia Society. I like that name too. Don't Califia mean king, ruler?
Well, I know Queen Califia was the empress over this territory. So we in Queen Califia territory. Now I don't know. I know Caliph is like a yeah, it's a
It mean
position.
like ruler. Yeah, like a ruler. Nah, that's why I say I like that. I remember seeing the definition a long time ago. The general purpose to which the association has been established is as follows. The main focus of Califia Society is to perform all things relating to and appropriate to portraying the overall history of our ancestors, the Olmecs, the Moabites, the Canaanites, the what's that say? The Hittites, informing all Moors and their political status here in the Maghreb. Is that it? Am I pronouncing that right? Maghreb.
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 Maghreb, yeah.
Maghreb.
Maghreb. Al-Aqsa.
Al-Aqsa. Maghreb. Al-Aqsa. Ooh, that's a tongue twister right there. America, Morocco, the most extreme west.
So when you say the Arabic term, the Maghreb Al-Aqsa, you're saying Morocco or America, the most extreme west in English.
Okay, in English. Okay. Enlighten the minds of the fallen Moors, restoring them there in full life, in proper persona, su juris. Is that status? What does that mean? Su juris.
So you can handle your law affairs. You're a jurist. You're able to, you know, law. You can stand up for yourself in court. You season. So
Okay.
one that knows law.
Status, as opposed to the mentality of a minor who is civil litter. Mortuous, is that what that say? Mortus?
Mortus, yep.
Mortus?
Civilly dead.
Okay, civilly litter, mortus. Mortus. To promote a collective of Moorish Americans and connecting them to the Califia Society's social and economic platform to promote the use of moral principles and the branches of knowledge dealing with ethnical awareness to encourage all Moorish Americans to believe the captivity of each other, to the capacity of each other to succeed in business, to encourage, support, and provide Patriot, what does that say?
Patronage.
Patronage
Yep.
in our affairs. The principal office of the Caliph Society shall be determined at the time the board of directors deem necessary, or as the affairs of the association may find need for from time to time. The properties and assets of the Khalifa Society are irrevocably. What's that word? I can't even see.
Irrevocably.
Okay. The properties and assets of the Khalifa Society are irrevocably dedicated to and for non-profit purposes only. No part of the net earnings, properties, or assets of the private non-profit civic association on dissolution or otherwise shall ensure to the benefit of any person or any member, director, or officer of this private non-profit civic association on liquidation or dissolution. All remaining properties and assets of this association shall be distributed and paid over to an organization associated, dedicated to a nonprofit purposes. Board of Directors. The Khalifa Society shall be governed by a board of directors, the board, which shall have all the rights, powers, privileges, and limitations of liability of directors in nonprofit associations. The board shall establish policies and directives governing all bargains, business, and programs of the Khalifa Society, and shall delegate to the executive director and staff, subject to the provision of the bylaws, authority and responsibility to see the policies and directive are appropriately followed. The board shall have no fewer members than 3, and the members of the board may be increased by no more than 20 members of the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the serving board of directors. In addition to the regular membership of the board, representatives of such other organizations or individuals as the board may deem advisable to elect shall be ex-board members, office board members. Is that what that means? Did I say that correctly? Which will have the same rights and obligations, including voting power and the other directors. The board shall receive no compensation other than for reasonable expenses. However, provide the compensation structure complies with section regarding the contracts involving board members and officers as stipulated under the bylaws. Nothing in these bylaws shall be constructed to preclude any board member from serving the Khalifa Society in any other capacity and receiving pecuniary? Is that what I see? Pecuniary compensation of services rendered. Chair of the board, chief executive chair of the board, chief executive office. It shall be the responsibility of the chair of the board, when present, to preside over all things of the board of directors and executive committee. The chair of the board is authorized to execute in the name of the Khalifa Society any and all contracts and other documents which may be authorized, either generally or specifically by the board to be executed by the Califia Society, except when required by law that the president's signature must be provided. President, executive director. It shall be the responsibility of the president in general to supervise and conduct all activities, operations of the Califia Society, subject to control, advice, consent, and the board of directors. The president shall keep board of the directors completely informed and shall freely consult with them in relation to all activities of the Caliph Society, and shall see that all orders and or resolutions of the board are carried out the effective to carry out the effect intended. The board of directors may place the president under contract of employment where appropriate. The president shall be empowered to act, speak for, and otherwise represent the Caliph Society between meeting the boards, for keeping the board informed at all things and staff performance, and for implementing any personal policies which may be adopted and implemented by the board. The president at all times is authorized to contract, receive, deposit, disperse, and account for all funds of the Caliph Society, to execute the name of the Caliph Society, all contracts and other documents authorized either generally or specifically by the board of executive by the Caliph Society, and to negotiate in all the matters, business, transactions of the Caliph Society. Secretary. The secretary, his or her design, is that it? Designee?
Designee.
A designee, okay. Designee shall be custodian of all records and documents of the Khalifa Society, which are acquired to be kept at a principal office of the Khalifa Society, and shall at his secretary at all meetings of the board of directors, and shall keep the minutes of all meetings and file in hard copy or electronic format. He or she shall attend to the giving and serving of all notices of the Caliph Society, and shall see that the seal of the Caliph Society, if any, is affixed to all documents, and is execution of which on the behalf of the Caliph Society under its seal and what say duty? Authorized duly. Okay, seal is duly authorized in accordance with provision of these bylaws. Treasurer, Chief Financial Officer. It shall be the responsibility of the treasurer to keep and maintain, or cause to be kept and maintain, adequate and accurate accounts of all the properties and business transactions of the Caliph Society, including accounts of its assets, liabilities, receipts, disbursements, gains, losses, capital, retained earnings, and other matters customarily included in financial statements. The treasurer shall be responsible for ensuring the deposit of or cause to be deposited all money and other valuables as may be designated by the board of directors. Furthermore, the treasurer shall disperse or cause to be dispersed the funds of the Caliph Society, or may be ordered by the board of directors, and shall render to the chair of the board, president, and directors, whenever they request it, an account of all treasury transactions as treasurer, and of financial conditions of Caliph Society. The treasurer shall give the Caliph Society a bond, if so requested and required by the board of directors, in the amount of with the surety and sureties specified by the board for faithful performance of the duties of the treasurer's office treasurer's office, and for restoration of the Caliph Society of all its books, papers, vouchers, money, or other property of every kind in the treasurer's possession or under the treasurer's control. Upon the treasurer's death, designated retirement or removal from office, the Califia Society shall pay costs of such a bond. The board of directors, by way of affirmative vote of the majority of the directors currently in office, may remove any director with cause at any regular or special meeting, providing that the director to be removed has been notified in the writings in the matter set forth in Article 5, meaning that such actions will be considered at the meeting. Expect as provided in the paragraphs. Any director may resign effective upon giving writings notice to a chair of the board, the president of the Califia Society, and secretary of the Califia Society of the board of directors, unless the notice specifies a later time, the effectiveness of the resignation. If the resignation is effective at a future time, a successor may be designated to take office when the resignation office becomes effective. Any vacancy on the board may be filled by the vote of 2/3 of the directors then in office. Whether or not the member of directors in the office is less than quorum, what's that?
Yep.
Quorum?
Yep.
Less than quorum, or by vote of a sole remaining director, no reduction of the authorized number of directors shall have the effect of removing any director before the director's term of office expires. A board member elected to fill a vacancy shall be elected for an unexpired term of his or her predecessors in office. Resignation. Each board member shall have the right to resign at any time upon written notice thereof to the chair of the board, secretary of the board, and executive director, unless otherwise specified in the notice. And a resignation shall take effect upon receipt thereof and the acceptance of such. Resignation shall take effect upon receipt thereof, and the acceptance of such resignation shall not be necessary to make it effective. Removal. A board member may be removed with cause at the duly constituted meeting of the board by the affirmative vote 2/3 of the serving board members' meetings. The board's regular meetings may be held at such time and place and shall be determined by the board and the chair of the board. The president may call special meetings of the board within 7 days. Written notice provided to each member of the board. The notice shall be served upon each board member via hand delivery, regular mail, email, or fax. The person authorized to call such special meetings of the board may have established a place the meeting to be conducted, as long as it is the responsible place to hold a special meeting of the board. Minutes. The secretary shall be responsible for the recording of all minutes of each and every meeting of the board, and in which business shall be transacted in such order as the board may determine from time to time. However, in the event that the secretary is unavailable, the chair of the board shall appoint an individual to act as secretary at the meeting. The secretary or the individual appointed as a secretary shall prepare the minutes of the meeting, which shall be delivered to the Califia Society to be placed in the minute book. A copy of the minutes shall be delivered to each board member via either regular mail, hand delivery, fax, email within 7 days after the close of each board meeting. Quorum. At each meeting of the board of directors,
or board committee. The presence of 3 persons shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. If at any time the board consists of an even number of members and the vote result in a tie, then the vote of the chair of the board shall be the deciding vote. The act of the majority of the board members serving on the board or board committees and who are present at the meeting in which there is a quorum shall be the act of board or board committees. These bylaws or a law specifically requiring otherwise, if a quorum is not present at a meeting, the board members present may adjourn the meeting from time to time without further notice until a quorum shall be present. However, a board member shall be considered present at any meeting of a board or board committee if during the meeting he or she is present via telephone, web conferencing, or other board members participate in the meeting. Voting. Each board member shall only have 1 vote. Proxy board members shall not be allowed to vote by written proxy. Board member attendance. An election board member who is absent for 3 consecutive regular meetings of the board during a what's that mean? Fiscal year shall be encouraged to revelate. What's that word? Revelate. Is that it?
Reevaluate.
Oh, reevaluate. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of small, bro. So excuse my reading.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. Encouraged to reevaluate with the chair of the board, his or her committee of the Califia Society. The board may deem a board member who has missed 4 consecutive meetings without such reevaluation with the chair to have resigned from the board. Article 6, officers. Officers and duties. The board shall elect officers of the Califia Society, which shall include a chair of board, executive chief officer, president, executive director, a secretary chief financial officer, and such other officers as the board may designate by resolution. The same person may hold any number of offices, except that neither the secretary nor the treasurer may serve concurrently as the chair of the board or the president, in addition to the duties typically pertaining to their offices and other such duties, which may be required by these bylaws, subject to control of the board of directors, and they shall perform any other additional duties with the board of directors may assign to them as their direction. The officers will be selected by the board and its annual meeting, and shall serve the needs of the board, subject to all rights. If anything of any officer who may be under contracts of employment thereof, without any bias or predisposition to the rights of any officer that may be under contract of employment, any officer may be removed with or without cause by the board. All officers may have a right to resign at any time by providing notice in writing. And the chair of the board, president, and or secretary of Califia Society, without bias and predisposition to all rights. Is that what it said? Did I say right? Predisposition. predisposition, okay, to all rights of any other collegiate society under the contract to which said officer is a part, resignation is received or any time later, as many be specified within the resignation or unless otherwise in that, what's that one? I can't even I can't even read that right now.
Oh, resignation.
No, I'm here. Otherwise inadequate. I'm tongue tied. I can't indicated. Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it. Indicated within the writing notice. And the written notice, a stated acceptance of the resignation shall not be required to make a resignation effective. Any and all vacancies in any office because of death, resignation, disqualification, removal, or for any other cause shall be filled in accordance to the herein prescribed by laws or regular appointments in such office. The compensation, if any, of the officers shall be fixed or determined by resolution of the board of directors. What was the title of this one? Let me see the title.
Oh, committees.
Committees. Okay. The board of directors may by resolution adopt by a majority of the directors then in office, provided to a quorum is present, designate one or more committees to exercise all or portion of the authority of the board to the extent of the powers especially delegated in the resolution of the board or in these bylaws. Each such committee shall consist of 2 or more directors and may also include persons who are not on the board, but whom directors believe to be reliable and competent to serve at the specific committee. However, committees exercising an authority or more alternative members of any committee who may replace any absent member at any meeting of the committee. The appointment of members or alternate members of a committee requires a vote of a majority of the directors then in the office. Man, it's crazy. Man, y'all done mapped this shit out. This shit crazy, bro. I'm reading this shit like, this shit crucial. This organization right here, I need a copy of this shit, bro. This is amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, how competent and how organized we could be once we really learn. All right, let me pick up where I left off. I just had to just get that off.
Well, look, you remember what state, right? What state means, right?
Oh yeah, state. Yeah, state. A group of people gathered together with under the same, name and nationality, and they moving together as one.
Organized.
As long as you organized and y'all come moving as one, y'all could claim a state. Talk that lingo.
So you read the organization right there in front of you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it just showed me how organized we could be, man. And it's helping me. That's why I need a copy of this. This looks like the U.S. Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Like you can compare this shit to like literally, y'all, it's a constitution. Keeping things fair and keeping things legitimate. And even if somebody fall, y'all got this to go by.
Yep.
Like, it's super dope. Like, it's how shit got to be ran. And the board may designate one or more alternative members. The appointment of members or alternate members of the committee required a vote of a majority of the directors then in office, provided that a quorum is present, the board of directors may also designate one or more adversary committees that do not have the authority of the board. However, no committee, regardless of board resolution, may approve of any action that, pursuant to applicable law, would also require that affirmative vote of the members of the board if this were a membership vote. Fill vacancies on or remove the members of the board of directors or any committee that has the authority of the board. Fix compensation of the directors serving fixed compensation of the directors serving on the board or any committee. Amend or repeal bylaws or adopt new bylaws. E, amend or repeal any resolution of the board of directors that by its express terms is not so amendable and repellable. Repellable. Appoint any other committee of the board of directors and their members. Approve and plan of merger, consolidation, voluntary dissolution, bankruptcy, or reorganizations, or a plan for a sale, lease, or exchange of all or considerably all of the property and assets of the associated otherwise than in a usual or regular course of its business, or revoke any such plan. Approve any self-dealing transaction except any providing pursuant to law. Unless otherwise authorized by the board of directors, no committee shall compel the Califia Society in a contract or agreement or expend Califia Society funds. Meeting and actions of committee. Meeting and actions of committee shall be governed by and held and taken in accordance with the provision of Article 5, Board of Directors, and these bylaws concerning meetings and actions of the directors, and such changes in the context of those bylaws as are necessary to substitute the committee as its members for the board of directors and its members, except that the time for regular meetings of committees may be determined either by resolution of the board of directors or by resolution of the committee. Special meeting of committees may also be called by resolution of the board of directors. Notice the special meetings of committees shall also be given of any and all alternative members who shall have the right to attend all meetings of the committee. Minutes shall be kept of each meeting in any committee and shall be filed with the Califia Society records. The board of directors may adopt rules not consistent with the provisions of these bylaws for the governance of any committee. If a director relies on information prepared by a committee of the board on which the director does not serve, the committee must be compelled exclusively of any or combination of directors or employees of the Califia Society whom the director believes to be reliable and competent in the matters presented, or counsel, independent accountants. What does it say? Accountants.
Yep. Accountants. Yep.
Accountants or other persons as to matters which the director believed to be within the person's professional or expert competence. Executive committee. Purs- Pursuant of Article 7, Committee of Directors, the board may appoint an executive committee composed of a minimum of 3 directors, one of whom shall be the chair of the board, and another shall be either a secretary or the treasurer to serve on the executive committee of the board. The executive committee, unless limited in resolution of the board, shall have and may exercise all the authority of the board and management of the business and affairs of the Califia Society between the meetings of the board, provided, however, that the executive committee shall not have the authority of the board in reference to those matters. And oh, that's a what's the, and that's a ENUMER enumero.
Enumerated.
Oh, enumerated. Oh, that's an ED. I thought that was AL. Enumerated in Article 7, Committee of Directors. The Secretary of the Califia Society shall send to each director a summary report of the business conducted in the meeting of the executive committee. Article 8, Standard of Care, General. The director shall perform all the duties of the director, including but not limited to duties as the member of any committee of a board on which the director may serve in such a matter as the director deems to be in the best interest of the Califia Society, and with such care, including reasonable inquiry as an ordinary, prudent, and responsible person in a similar situation may exercise under similar circumstances. In the performance of the duties of a director shall be entitled to rely on information, opinions, reports, or statements, including financial statements and other financial data in each case prepared and presented by one or more officers or employees of the association whom the director deems to be reliable and competent to the matters presented, consul, independent accountants, or other persons as the matters which the director deemed to be within such person's professional expert competence, or a committee of a board upon which the director does not serve as to matters within the designated authority, with committees to the director seem to merit confidence, so long as in any such case the director acts in good faith after reasonable inquiry, when the need may be man, what's that word again? That's the same word I can't even pronounce. Indicated. Okay, indicated. Duh, that's an easy ass word. Indicated by the word, easy as hell. Shit, fucking me up, bro. Indicated twice. Indicated by the circumstances and without knowledge, and will cause such reliance to be unwarranted, except as wherein provided in Article 8, Standard of Care. Any person who perform the duties of a director in accordance with above shall be no liability based upon any failure or alleged failure to discharge that person's obligation as a director, including without limitation of the following: any actions or omission which exceed or defeat public or charitable purpose to which a Califia society or asset held by it or dedicated. Loans.
Now, it's like a minute and a half left. Do you want to just start it up at another time, or you want to finish it out another 30 minutes?
I really would like to read this on paper. It's kind of hard to read it, like as I'm reading it, I understand it, but like if I get a copy of it when on the next meeting, so I can just read it, because
Okay.
it's crucial, because it's like I'm reading it, going through it, but I'm not able to like retain everything. Like I think it's like I remember some of the stuff I read, but I'm going, it's like I need to study it and keep it. But
I email it to you.
Okay, yeah, email it to me, and then I can make a PDF, and then I can just pick up where I left off.
Did y'all want to hop back on?
Yeah, we can hop back on. Shit, I'm about to motherfucking roll me a joint. So yeah, we can finish it up.
All right,
back on.
Same invite.
All right, same invite. All right, I'm about to hit it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.